Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Q&A podcast on Inside the Birds platform. Thank you to everyone that's tuning in. As usual, I am Jason Avant, here with my Eagles hat on, proud to wear it today. And I'm with my homeboy, my teammate and friend, Quentin Michael. Say what's up, Q, to the people.
What's up, everybody? Back again, man. Excited. Saw some good stuff last week. Excited for where this thing could be possibly going. So, without further ado, let's get into it.
Let's get into it. To the fans and everybody that tunes in each and every week, thank you guys for tuning in, supporting the Q&A show, making it a success. Thank you to Adam and to Jeff and to Hunter, Josh, everyone that's responsible for us being on the Inside the Birds platform. Remember to send your questions to insidethebirds@gmail.com. Again, insidethebirds@gmail.com. Q, let's get right into this week. Eagles win versus the Saints, 40-29. Closer at the end than it was pretty much the whole game. We kind of had a mental letdown in the fourth quarter, but overall, ran the football 50 times to 242 yards. Smash mouth football. Miles Sanders, 6 yards a carry. Jordan Howard, almost 7 yards a carry. Jalen Hurts bringing his in as well. This team is a rushing machine right now, and I'm loving it, Q. What's your overall evaluation, assessment of the win, how they play offensively, defensively? Tell me what's going on.
Yeah, man, I agree. I'm loving it. I'm loving the fact that even though, especially offensively, they're running the ball, it's not the old school boring run game that we all grew up with in the Big Ten and the old days in NFL. It's really you know how to throw it out there, man. The 3 yards in the cloud of dust. But it's exciting, man. It looks, every play looks the same but looks different. They can hit outside, they can hit inside. They can pull it with the quarterback. Like it really looks exciting. And offensively, they've looked unstoppable the last couple games. And defensively, man, I don't know what happened. I don't know what clicked, but it just seems like the entire defense is really starting to understand where they need to be, and they're starting to understand and play more aggressively, jump routes, play press coverage. It's just all coming. It's all coming together right now. It just feels like this team is starting to hit their stride at the right time. So it's a very good thing to see, man.
No, it's been exciting. It's been exciting for sure, because we've said all along that this team, in order to win, they have to run the football, and they've made it their identity. Something that should have happened after the Cowboys game, I say earlier in the year, when we tried to come out and pass it on them and couldn't. So I'm glad that they have adjusted. It's taken them a long time, but if they can continue to win games, they're going to be in a playoff hunt, and they'll be a dangerous team in the playoffs just because they can run the football. So let's dig into it a little bit. Evaluation, modified run game, right? We saw some inside, we saw some outside zones, some jet sweeps. We saw some with a lot of motion, jet motions as well, quarterback design runs. Not much under center, but they're doing it from the shotgun, a lot of it. But the thing that's interesting is that the interior linemen are owning the football field. Yeah. And I'm not saying that and I'm not saying that everyone's not holding their blocks. I'm not saying that. But Jason Kelce, Landon Dickerson, Driscoll, anybody they put in there, they are owning the middle of the field. And that's where Jordan Howard's hitting some big runs, Miles Sanders hitting big runs. These runs are happening in the A and B gaps. So that's demoralizing for a defense. You usually want it to be strung out to the edge with your speed players, and you can kind of live with an outside run. It's kind of hard to live with, 30-yard runs up the middle. It's very, very hard to live with that on the number one rushing defense. Let's mind you, yes, the Saints team was injured. They had injuries, 3 offensive linemen out, 3 starters out. Most of their offense, Jameis Winston, Michael Thomas, and many others out. But their defense was pretty much intact besides, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, their starting nickel. Besides him, everybody's pretty much intact. So to do this on this team was pretty impressive. and you know, I was happy to see it. I was very happy to see it. Now let's get into this. Runner passer Jalen Hurts. Something is going to have to break one of these days. Runner passer Jalen Hurts. We know that he's been more effective running the football. The last game against the Broncos played extremely well throwing the football. This game, not so much. A lot of penalties in the red zone, which cost him opportunities of scoring touchdowns. But what did you think overall as the passer? His pocket awareness. What did you think? I saw him revert back a few times in some things that we saw before. But what do you think overall as a passer?
Yeah, I kind of had a feeling that would happen, that he would revert a little bit, mostly because I feel like Dennis Allen, the defensive coordinator for the Saints, probably really studied that Broncos game tape and understood that, okay, now he's starting to understand where the blitzes are coming from and he's starting to pick it up. So I think that the game plan that Dennis Allen came up with probably was more geared towards not allowing him to see those lanes. And so, there's going to be, again, we've always said there's going to be ups and downs as he develops with his passing game. And the good thing that I saw was that when the opportunity arose for him to run and make a play with his legs, he was able to do that. And I think, it's going to be a work in progress passing game wise. He's going to have games where he looks like he did against the Broncos, and he's going to have games where they're going to scheme him up a little bit the next week, like what the Saints did, and not allow him to run and pass. And I agree. I think he took a little bit of a step back, but overall, big picture, I think that it's much better than even last week. I think it's still much better than where we were way earlier in the season. So it's still getting there. It's still getting there.
Yeah. So, and what Q is talking about when he says that Dennis Allen was going to, make him take away some of the passing lanes, is that the Saints didn't rush as much as the Broncos did on third downs. So when you rush, you take a man out of the secondary and coverage. What Dennis Allen did a lot of times was bluff the blitz, rush 4. He rushed 3 a few times. And so now you have 7 and 8 men in zone defense on the back end. And it's very, very hard for a young quarterback. A seasoned veteran picks apart a zone defense pretty easily. But a guy that is used to the blitz and that is used to, running a little bit is going to make him a little antsy. So there was times where he had clean pockets and he was anticipating moving when he didn't have to move. It's because, the offensive line was protecting really well. He thought the blitz or what would look like a blitz would get there, but the guys were just dropping it back in coverage and they had extra person in coverage. So that's something that he's going to have to mature into. When you get to Peyton Manning's and you get to let's not get to Peyton Manning because that's too great. But when you get to some of the starting quarterbacks in the National Football League, whoever it may be, the Staffords, Matt Ryans, or whoever it may be, Dak Prescott, they're going to be able to pick apart a zone defense and even defense where you have 4 and 5, 6 seconds. There are times the offensive line block for 4 and 5, 6 seconds. We still end up running the ball out of bounds. It was bizarre to me. So those are the times and the things that he's going to have to improve on. But overall rushing, I like the fact that he got down a lot more than he had the last game. He still has to stop taking unnecessary hits. I remember a few times where he's taken on, corners and safeties and stuff. It just doesn't make sense. I like his aggression. I know how strong he is. We're talking about a 600-pound squatter and, just a physically imposing player. But eventually one of these hits from these grown men, these dudes that has severed the I don't stop, part of your they've severed that part of the brain that tells them to slow down. That part is gone, right? The NFL player, that part has been fried. So there's going to be one of these guys that only know go fast and go faster until the quarterback, starts to slide. So hopefully he doesn't get that hit. But overall, he's a physically imposing runner. He's a good runner. But I like the fact that he was able to get down a little bit as well. Let's go right into the next one, Q. evaluation of Jonathan Gannon. We've been on his butt. We've been on his butt for a long time. I want to hear what the defensive coordinator himself, Quinn Michael, has to say about it.
Well, listen, it's night and day. Now, we have to put the disclaimer out there. Okay, no Alvin Kamara, right? No
Mike Thomas.
No Mike Thomas.
Jameis Winston.
No Jameis Winston. All right, so we got to put that out there. But
they were down to that. They were down to like that third, like Ty Montgomery was even out. Like that third running back was out. You know, so that they were bare bones. But go ahead.
Yeah, but you know, that being said, I love the game plan. In the last couple of weeks, he's been putting kind of stacking these game plans together. You know, stopping the run, using odd man fronts on first and second down, and then you know, changing up the coverages in the back end. Seeing some press. I saw a couple blitz schemes, but not too crazy. And overall, to me, I think the biggest difference that I've seen, number one, has been the play of Maddox. I mean, I think he's kind of stepped up in that nickel role and kind of man in the middle, especially in zone coverage, a lot better than earlier in the year. But I think secondary-wise, I'm seeing guys that are more positive to routes. I mean, the Saints were catching passes, and even when they were catching them, it was like hit down, or, you know, someone's making a play on the ball. And that's right there telling you that these guys are starting to gain confidence in their technique. They're starting to gain confidence in the front four. They're starting to gain confidence in knowing where they're supposed to be in the defense. And listen, the play by Slay when he jumped that out route was phenomenal. Like that play was textbook in terms of playing off coverage. You know, reading your steps, reading the quarterback arm release, understanding the route concept, and just breaking through the player and on the ball, looking at the last minute, back at the quarterback, picking it off and running into the house. I mean, that was like textbook right there from Slay, and he's having a phenomenal year. So just across the board, I was very, very pleased with everything that I saw from the defense.
Yeah, I thought that the front four owned the game.
Yes.
Right. So the defensive line owned the game, and this is what happens is that when the defensive line, and this is how it works in National Football League. Earlier in that game, you're going to know from the secondary and also from the second level, the linebacker position, what kind of game this is going to be from the defensive line. If they're starting to rush four and they're getting home with that four, you can best believe that secondary is gaining confidence and they're going to start inching closer to the receivers. So as soon as they call a blitz, the front four is getting there. So now when I put in a blitz, we're going to touch the quarterback, and therefore we're going to rush his timing. So you can see Darius Slay sitting on that route, knowing that the front four has been getting home this entire first quarter, all the way into the second quarter. And now it's time for me to take this gamble, knowing that they're going to get there. And defensive line gets that done. Jonathan Gannon calls him a few blitz. I still don't like the depth of some of the blitzes, but they're still getting home. When the defensive line is getting home, it doesn't matter because they have people in their face and the guy's feeling uncomfortable. Trevor Siemian's feeling uncomfortable already, but it just allows the secondary to play faster. So we begin to see cornerbacks and safeties begin to be closer to the defenders, sitting on routes a bit. When the defensive line is not getting home, you're not anticipating jumping nothing. It's just not happening because you like, oh, hold on, wait a minute. You're aggressive because I may have to cover this guy for another 3 seconds. So you're like, hold on, wait. You're always second guessing yourself. And it's like that when you play against upper echelon quarterbacks. Him playing against Trevor Siemian is one of the reasons he did it as well. When you play against upper echelon quarterbacks, you take less chances as well. So, but I like the fact that they're thinking, okay, defensive line, getting home. I'm playing against Trevor Siemian. I'm sitting on this one. Pick 6 to the house, change the complexion of the ball game, basically put the game away with that. So I'm liking the way that the front four played this game. Last game, stopping the run or mitigating as best he can now. Mark Ingram still rushed for doggone like 5 yards of carry, like five some yards of carry, 5.5, I believe. Later in the game, when the game's out of reach, but still, we still got to do a little bit better job. But how can we go this far without saying that TJ Edwards is balling? The man had 10 tackles last game. He had a pick. He also had a fumble recovery. The man is playing with his hair on fire. And I'm looking at myself like this team is a 4-6 team, and we extending people like we're 5 and I mean like like we're 9-1 or something. But you know, you gotta build with what you believe. They believed in them, and it seemed like the players that they paid this week showed up a little bit. Avonte Maddox showed up besides getting beat on the touchdown, you know, but you know, saying all this to say that the defensive front was a catalyst for all of this stuff. And so you got to give them a bunch of credit.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So my man got paid, man. Edwards got paid, right?
He just got some cheese.
Maddox, man.
Like, I'm gonna show them that they made the right decision. I'm gonna show. I like it. You get some cheese and you come out and play. Usually, when you get some cheese, guys be thinking about the the car they about to get. Like, man, I'm about that new.
shout out to Avonte Maddox, Jason Shea at Sports Stars. That was my same agent. We had the same agent.
Oh, is that right?
And you know, Jay's still in, and he's representing Maddox. And shout out to Jay. Got that deal for the young boy. So
check y'all out. Look at him representing the small state.
Gotta show love, man. All right. So where we at, man? Let's continue. Let's see. Oh shoot.
Well, before you get into that, I want you to talk about Darius Slay. I want you to talk about Darius Slay, not just that play, but just overall this season.
Yeah, this season, you know, it's funny because earlier in the season, it looked like he wasn't very comfortable in his defense, and we talked about it. I think he probably was still, you know, feeling his way through the defense, and but he still was productive. He still was able to, even, I wouldn't say playing out of place, but kind of playing out of his normal usage. I think he was still productive, and it seems like the last, I would say, 3 or 4 games, it just everything started to click to the point where he's playing at an all-star level, and nice. It's been phenomenal to watch because, you know, being able to, this is the first year where I've kind of watched the game more as an analyst and just kind of seeing even the veteran at his level, all experience he's had, kind of still rise as the season's going, still progress as the season going. It's been really cool to watch and really fun, and it shows you what a tremendous player he is. Yeah. And you know, he's still kind of he's kind of at the tip of the iceberg of what he can do, and he's still young. You know, I know he's 29 this year.
Yeah,
technically they say, but you know, when you're a cornerback and you haven't had a whole lot of wear and tear in your body, you know, tackling wise, I think you know, he can get quite a few years left. So it's been phenomenal to watch, man, and I've really become a huge fan of his. And I've always kind of been a big fan of his, but even more so after seeing what he's done this year. And, you know, I think he might be up for a record, right? If he gets one more touchdown or something. I don't know if it has to be on offense or whatever, but he's up for a record for most touchdowns in the season, I think. So I'd love to see that happen.
Because there's some guys that score some more than 3 touchdowns. But yeah,
I don't know if it might be different ways. So it might be because he returned he returned a fumble. He returned one. He returned 2 fumbles.
Yeah,
that's right. I don't know what it is. I gotta go back and read it. But I remember reading something, seeing a little blurb about him breaking some type of record. I'll find out more about that. And
but no, I think that he's made some timely plays and it's helped him out a bunch, right? So in their you know, game deciding, game clinching plays, you know, the 2 picks that he had in Carolina, those were big plays that kind of started the momentum. This past week was the play that kind of cemented the win almost, even though it was in the first half. You know, it was just such a big deficit after that. And it was the way that it was done. Like I said, it was with his brain. And then he's still as quick as a cat. the DB, the receiver out there, taking the highway to heaven with all those steps that he was taking getting out of the break. And it took Slade 3 steps to get out. And that's what you want. He was more efficient than a receiver. And for the young players out there, you go back and watch Darius Slade's interception, you can see the receiver slipping his break, and it takes him 5 to 6 steps to get out. That's going to be a pick with the DB, because the DB's feet usually are faster than yours, right? They're usually faster than you, and their feet are just as good or faster than yours. So you have to be efficient as a football player. And if Slade stumbles or he slips or whatever, now it's even. But Slade was efficient. He saw it, got out of there, boom, touchdown. And so I like the fact that he competes every play. He does. And even if he gets beat, he got beat in San Diego game pretty good, but they were all contested. They're never just caught up. Yeah, they're never just I'm just going to catch the ball in front of Slade. No, they're usually competition for the ball. So I can appreciate that, and usually that's a good sign. He's not the biggest player in the world, so sometimes even though he's impressed, those big dudes is going to be a struggle for him. But he's a great football player, and I can attest to this from being there last year as a coach. Out of everybody out there on defense, the guy that works the hardest is Darius Slade. That's awesome. He wants to know. He would say, "Hey, Jason, coach, I need you to simulate DK Metcalf. I need you to simulate." And I was like, dude, I'm not a good DK Metcalf. I ain't that fast to get off this ball. You know what I mean? Whatever. But he's like, hey, watch the tape this week. And I would watch our stuff for offense. And I'll watch, whoever the top receiver was. And I would simulate 3 or 4 releases that they would do. And he would have all the DBs out there doing it, he studies and it's just paying off. And that's a good thing.
I love to see that, man.
Yeah.
A technician. You don't really see a whole lot. Actually, I don't know firsthand, but it seems like you don't see a whole lot of it anymore. Just the extra work and technician,
but he makes them go. This is not him, but he's the catalyst.
Yeah.
Because he's out there, Avonte Max is out there, because they're out there. The other deep and when it's at the top, you're obligated.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
When it's the best corner, if the coach is gonna be like, hold on, wait a minute. What's he doing out here? And you can't even get on the field, and you going in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
man. All right. So I had to find it. All right. So here it is. Slade became only the second. So right now he's second Eagles defender in history to have 3 defensive touchdowns in the season.
Okay.
Guess who the other one was?
Oh, defensive lineman.
It's a cornerback.
Oh, Lito.
Nope. That's close. That's a good guess, though. That's a good guess. This one is during 9. Yep. Good
Eric
one.
Allen, yeah. I remember Eric Allen, and he balled out one year, right?
Yep. That was 93.
Yeah.
That was 28. He said so. That was 28 years ago. All right. So he can break the record if he gets another defensive touchdown. So there we go.
He gonna mess around and get it because he on a hot streak. So they come in bunches. So he mess around and have a couple of opportunities.
Yeah, they're gonna give it to him too. Shoot, who we got this week? We got Giants. Is it the Giants this week?
You got Daniel Jones coming up, and Daniel just threw 2 interceptions. It's bad too.
I know Slade like this, rubbing his hands like Birdman.
He better do it on somebody that ain't the Cantoni kid. I didn't like him too much coming out, but he proved me wrong a little bit. He dynamic. They haven't scored a touchdown, but he's dynamic with the ball in his hand.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
So, all right, let me get to this read right now, man.
Okay.
All right, so this is Thanksgiving. Be thankful for free bets. That's right. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, has a Turkey Day no-brainer you can't miss. New customers can bet just $1 on any Thanksgiving NFL game and win $100 in free bets if either team scores a point. All DraftKings customers can also get skin in the game with the same game parlay offer that's sweeter than grandma's pumpkin pie. For the Thanksgiving games, all customers get a risk-free bet up to $25 if your same game parlay doesn't win. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable. Best of all, you can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you want. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use the promo code ITB. Bet just $1 or any Thanksgiving NFL game, and you win $100 in free bets. If either team scores a point, that's the promo code ITB. This is Thanksgiving's at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Must be 21 and older. Pennsylvania only. New customers only. Restrictions apply. In partnership with Meadows Racetrack and Casino. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. If you have any gambling problems, please call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
Nice.
I don't like pumpkin pie. You like pumpkin pie?
No, I'm a sweet potato pie, man. But I'm not against pumpkin pie. But I just grew up with sweet potato pie.
I'm a pecan pie, man. I love pecan
like pecan pie. Oh,
yeah, man. That's my favorite right there. All right, man.
I'm gonna say that I can hear Bernie Mac right now talking about
I know what you're talking about. All right, man. Let's talk about this playoff hunt, man. All right, so let me ask you this: are you liking the Eagles' chances of making it to the postseason? What do you think, man?
All right, so let's look at it, and let's look at it from this perspective, right? So Eagles at Giants, winnable. Eagles at Jets, winnable. Washington at Eagles, winnable. Giants at Eagles, winnable. Eagles at Washington, winnable. Cowboys at Eagles, still winnable. Still winnable.
Yeah, you know? The way they're looking right now.
You know, the thing is that the Eagles winning the last two games against teams with winning records while they played gives a bunch of confidence to the team. The records of the teams that are remaining are your division opponents, a large majority except for the Jets. I'm not going to look at their record, their division opponents, so they're definitely winnable. And I think the Eagles are the better team in comparison to the other teams that are out there. So I think that they have a really good chance of making the playoffs, kid.
Right.
They have a really good chance. And how many wins do they need in order to make the playoffs? They have 5 wins now. They're probably going to need – they'll need 4. They'll need 4. And they can make the playoffs at 9 and 8 in the NFC. With what the other teams are with the way the other teams are looking. Yep. Now, to guarantee to make it, it's the 5-1. Now you're 2-7 at the end of the season. That's a guaranteed end. But I think they can make it with 9 and 8 in the NFC this year.
That's crazy.
With the extra team, of course. If it weren't for the extra team, you're in trouble a little bit. But because they get the extra team this year, they go from 6 teams to 7 teams. The Eagles got a very good chance to make the playoffs. Very, very good.
That's crazy, man.
Isn't it crazy?
We never would have thought we'd be sitting here like after those first few games, and you know that gauntlet that they had to get through. Never thought that they would be in a position in striking distance. Right? They very well could win out.
They could.
I'm looking at the schedule. They very well could.
Definitely could. Now, there's going to take some focus because as much as these teams that you're going to be the favorite for most of these teams because of the last 2 games, and as long as they keep the mentality that they've had, as no one believes in us, no one is. Everyone's counting us out. We need to come out and grind, and they're not taking the high road of luxury and not putting in the same amount of work. The team they should win most of these games. They should. And it's not going to be many people picking against them either. So you know we're going to find out a lot about our teams because there's a difference between being an underdog and there's a difference in being a favorite. And can our team handle being a favorite? Will they work the same? Will they have the same mentality? Will they grind the same? Will they run the ball the same? Will they do the same thing that got them into this position? We'll see. Time will tell.
I hope so.
But they have very, very high. Like I bet you the trend. I bet you if somebody said it, they'd probably be in a 65, 70% chance to make the playoffs right now.
Really?
That's what I would think. That's
like
how
at this point in the season.
At 65? This point in the season, I would be like they got a 67% chance to make the playoffs based on the team that they are now and based on what they're playing against.
Okay, all right, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right. So let's see what we got here. What do you think? All right, so now I think he got a little bit banged up. I think Jordan Howard got a little banged up, right?
Yeah, he's out. He's going to be out. They're saying that he's a good chance that he's out this week. It's a good chance.
All right. So now, with that being said, do you think the rushing attack that they've had the last few weeks, you think it's still going to be as effective if he can't play?
Well, Jordan Howard saved us this week, and I want you guys to know that because, and I forgot I was on Inside the Birds, and I was about to say it, and I'm blaming Jeff right now, and Jeff cut off and had to go to something else, but it was right on the tip of my tongue of me saying Miles Sanders has a high chance of fumbling the ball today. And my reasoning for it is just because when you play the running back position and you've been out a long time, and you're playing against a team that gets after the ball a little bit, number one rushing defense. That was the thing that I left out of the pregame show. I was mad about it because I remember right after I was like, dang, I should have said it because, but anyhow, that's what happens. But Jordan Howard came in and kind of settled Miles down and I don't know what it is. The Jordan Howard is the type of player that you love him on your team. You wonder why that no one ever gives him a shot, a true chance. And it's just baffling to me because the man has vision. It's not that he's just breaking off runs. He has great vision, great patience. He has the hole at the right time. And it's even the difference between him and Miles being in there. The vision is totally different. Jordan Howard has superior vision. Miles Sanders is the superior athlete, but superior vision. Jordan Howard's not missing a cut. It's just not happening, right? He's patient. He's used to running in between the tackles. He can see an angle. He can measure where a guy's going to be and make a cut off of it. So I'm very, very happy that we have Jordan Howard on our team. Will it change our run game? It will.
Yeah,
it will. Will we stay with it? Yes. Will Boston show up and kill the Giants again? Maybe. Boston got some good games against the Giants.
Yes, sir. The Giant killer.
Hopefully that happens again this year. But will it hurt our team a little bit? I think it does because Jordan Howard's the tone setter, and it seems like people just don't like tackling him either. But so he's definitely a tone setter.
I wouldn't want to tackle him, man.
Yeah, but last game when Miles, fumbled the ball a few times, they put Jordan Howard in there, and he gashed them on the same drive 3 straight times. 10, 20, 15, boom, boom, boom. Next thing you know, you're on the other side of the field, and you're like, man, what just happened? All Jordan Howard just right up the middle. A, B gap runs. 6.3 yards a carry on 10 rushes. So I was sad when I saw him, reaching for his knee in that game and not being able to finish. But hopefully we can overcome. But I got faith in Boston if that happens. Boston caught the game-winning touchdown last year with an amazing play he caught, and then he killed him up there at their house too. So I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Nice. Should be fun, man.
Yeah. I'm gonna ask you this: how will the defense be impacted by Davion Taylor's knee? He's going on IR, and if Darius Slay's concussion, what if he misses the game? So let's look at this now. So Davion Taylor's on IR. That means that he's out automatically 3 games, right?
Yeah.
And then you have possible Darius Slay concussion, but you're already hurt at the linebacker position. You don't have much depth there. What do you think?
It's gonna be tough to overcome. I know Davion. It's a shame, man. He was, a young player. He's starting. It seems like every time he's starting to like get going, something crazy happens and kind of sets him back. And you just hate to see it for a young player like that. And he was balling, man. Like he was out there doing his thing. Edwards is out there doing his thing as well. But Taylor's kind of been that versatile linebacker that can run, can he's getting better in his pass drops and understanding where to be. Plays aggressive against the run, tackles well. So it's been tough, man. And I think the linebacking core as a group is still growing. So I don't think like long-term setback for the group, this will be a problem. But I think for these next few games is going to be tough because we were already thin, like you said, already thin at the linebacker position, and now you're already down a guy. So it's going to be tough, man. Other guys going to have to step up.
So Davion, for those that haven't watched him, he started some playing time, but he got like one of his first starts, I believe, against the Raiders, right? Well, he played a bunch against the Raiders.
Yeah.
Maybe the week before that. But he got a lot of burn. He was getting burned, and they were working him in before that. But one of his first starts against the Raiders looked awful in coverage.
Yeah.
Just bad. They were manipulating. Derek Carr was manipulating them. Part of the reason they lost by that much was because they were picking on Davion Taylor. Each game, he's gotten better and better after that game. Now, against the Broncos, he looked like almost a Pro Bowler out there, how fast he was getting to the edge and being in position on route combinations and different things of that nature. So you saw his growth and his progression. Remember, he didn't have much experience at Colorado. They played like this amoeba-style defense where they just ran. Amoeba is like when everybody's standing up on the line of scrimmage, and that was their base defense, right? So it was really no rules to their. I'm pretty sure there was rules, but it was nothing in comparison to the NFL. So he was starting from ground zero, and they kind of, put him in there, and he was starting to show up. So missing him, they're going to miss him because you have to play a lot of Alex Singleton. You've seen Alex Singleton. He looks like a safety out there playing linebacker. When he's on the field, it looks like a safety to me every time when he makes a play. I'm like, who's the skinny guy? And we've had problems with him in coverage. We've had problems with him taking on blocks. Davion is strong and fast, and Alex is just more fast and doesn't take on blocks and make tackles the best. But so I definitely think that we're gonna miss that, and going against Saquon and the bunch is going to be a challenge.
Yeah, it's going to, like I said, Bradley's going to have to step up, Avery, Singleton, and if it has to be by committee, that's probably what's going to happen is they're going to have to go linebacker by committee, which isn't always the best, but just to get through a couple games, hopefully those other guys can step up enough to get through.
I wonder if their coverage will it be limited because Davion can get to the flat so fast. He's been able to match certain people, running backs and stuff. I wonder if the coverage is going to get vanilla again. I don't know. I hope not. It did in this game. It did in this game. It did in this game. Well, it did at the end. It did. It did get. So I'm hoping that's not a carryover. I'm hoping the fourth quarter of that game is not a carryover into the Giants game. And I believe that part of that reason that they got a little bit vanilla is because Davion was out. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, definitely keep an eye on that, man.
Yep.
And if Slay misses his game, it's gonna be even more.
Yeah,
more trouble. I don't think I think he'll be all right, but if he doesn't play, it's gonna be rough.
Okay, for those, I don't know if I mentioned this last time, but this is how it goes for the fans that don't know. When a guy is into concussion protocol and he has a concussion on Sunday, what happens is prior to even the game, early in the year, you do a baseline concussion test. They have a bunch of shapes on a computer. You have to memorize and sequence different things, like these games that you play. And based on your baseline test, the initial test that you do, that's what you have to get again in order to pass concussion protocol. That's one of the steps that needs to take place. So on a Tuesday, they'll come in and they'll give you that test. I believe it's Tuesday or Wednesday. They'll come in and give you that test over again. And if you pass that test, that's the initial part of you getting out of concussion protocol. And if you don't pass that test, or even if you pass it, but you're saying, okay, my head hurts with lights or noise or whatever, they'll keep you away from practice and, away from the team a little bit. And then on Friday, you take it again. And if you pass it, you pass the concussion protocol, but it's all about that baseline test. If you can do just as good on the second test after the concussion, then you're basically cleared. That's how that works.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I hate that test. I know it's there for a good reason, but oh my goodness. even when I didn't have a concussion, it was we won't talk about all that.
When does it catch up?
Sorry.
When does it catch up to the team for not having a number 2 receiver option?
I mean, it's been actually thus far, it's actually surprising me that it hasn't really gotten to that point. And I suspect the only reason why it hasn't is because they've been running the ball so well. So my answer to that is when teams are able to shut down the run game and also limit your number 1, that's when it can become a huge problem with no number 2.
Yeah.
The bigger issue is obviously if you shut the run game down, and it hasn't happened, and that's probably the biggest reason why. But we definitely need, especially if you're trying to hit this playoff stretch and then get into the playoffs, we got to have someone emerge as a number 2 threat. And we keep saying it's Quez, and he's shown ability, he's shown flashes. It's just he hasn't quite yet got over the hump yet, and don't know what it is. You can probably, you can tell, you can explain a little bit better than I could, but he just quite hasn't gotten over that hump yet of that breakout game and that breakout kind of string of plays. It's like little flashes here and there, and then that's it, So, maybe you can tell us a little bit more about what you're seeing there, because it's kind of odd for me.
Yeah. So I think, from my perspective, at some point, the defense has to sell out to stop this run attack.
Yeah.
It's going to happen in these next 2-3 games for sure. There's going to be some defensive coordinators just like, bump it, forget it, F it. Let's go 0. I'm serious. It's going to happen. Yeah. There's going to be a defensive coordinator that's like, all right, this way we're going to stop this. Yeah. Let's put some people in A gaps. Let's Now there's some great run plays for 0, but it ain't many great ones. Mm-hmm. It's only 1 or 2, right? And once you figure those 2 out, So what I'm saying is that what's going to happen when they stay with 8 in the box, and they're even willing to bring the 9th one in the box.
Yeah.
What's going to happen then? And when that occurs, you got to be able to take advantage of it. The quarterback can't be inaccurate. He did have some great throws to Goddard on the sideline. He had a really good one versus Malcolm Jenkins. But in 0 coverage or in tight man-to-man coverage, you're going to need these guys. And for some reason, they're not in sync. Jalen Reagor is not in sync. He has some one-on-ones, and it seemed like there's been times where he's been open and just seemed like it's just not in the cards for the ball to fall right in his hands sometimes. And Quez, on the other hand, I think Quez just needs opportunities. That's it. It's opportunities. Jalen has. Remember, he's limited. So I love him. I'm not hating on him. I'm not. Mm-hmm. So anybody that's out there is all Avant's hating. No, I'm not hating. I understand it for what it is. Jalen Hurts is limited as a passer right now, meaning that his first and second option has to be there. And if the first and second option isn't there, it's going to be hard for him to get back to other people in time before the clock goes off in his head that he has to run. Right. And most of these play designs, the number one option is Devontae Smith or Dallas Goedert. That's where it is. And getting to Quez or somebody else, that takes time. You know, the good quarterbacks make, you know, Marquez Valdes-Scantling really good. They make the other guy, you know, a player. You know, you got, you know, McCole Hardman, or you have, you know, Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods, and you add more people in there, right? That's because of the quarterback play. They can get it to 3 and 4, and it makes the game easier for everyone. Our quarterback doesn't have that ability yet. Will he get it? I'm sure he will, because he has the work ethic and the drive and the desire to want to learn and grow. But at this point, it's going to be very, very hard for us to get the second guy going, because it's just not. It has to be a design play to get it to Quez, or a one-on-one where he got bump coverage. It's a go route, and they know Quez is really fast.
Gotcha.
You know,
something that he can pick at the line of scrimmage.
He's number one then.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's not 3. It's not 2. But most of the time, Quez is going to be 3, 2, 4 in a read. He's not going to be number 1 unless it's at the line of scrimmage or they line up and it's a one-on-one go ball. So he has to take advantage of the opportunities, but he doesn't get enough opportunities.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Let's get that boy going, man.
Yeah, I hope it was that easy. I wish it was that easy. But I say keep the run game going.
Yeah, you're right.
You're right. Keep the run game going. But they make a conscious effort to try to get Devontae Smith the ball. They make a conscious effort to try to get Dallas Goedert the ball. They don't make the same effort to get Quez the ball unless it's at the line of scrimmage or something like that. So he has to show up on tape. Just show up on tape. Continue to show up on tape. You know, for the balls I caught, I was open way more than I ever caught. So you got to keep showing up on tape.
That's it.
Yeah. All right. Let's get into this Manscaped read, and we'll finish out this show. Support for Q&A is brought to you by Manscaped, the champion of the world for men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels, and they just launched their 4th-generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0. You heard it right, 4.0. Join over 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code QA at manscaped.com. Imagine shaving with a sleek, well-designed, and optimized trimmer that makes shaving time your favorite time in the bathroom. I've tried the 4.0 and I'm blown away. The craftsmanship and details are second level. Nobody wants to get hurt down there. You know what I mean. So Manscaped engineered the ultimate growing and body trimmer by focusing on intelligent functionality and an incredibly comfortable grooming experience. Their 4th-generation trimmer has a cutting-edge ceramic blade that reduces those accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. You got to be comfortable down there. This upgraded trimmer also has a multi-function on and off switch that can engage a travel lock and has a 4000K LED spotlight that can turn on and off for more precision on your shave. The new lawnmower even allows you to customize your trim with guard lengths sizes 1 through 4. How about wireless charging? Their new wireless charging system uses electromagnetic induction to help the battery last longer. Men, you can't use the same trimmer on your nuts and face. Nobody needs pubes in their mouth. Get your own ball, hair, and body trimmer with Manscaped. Make me time the best time like Jason Avant always does. Get 20% off and free shipping with code QA at manscaped.com. Your balls will thank you. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code QA at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. Use code QA. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. and your balls will thank you.
That's good. Nice read. That was good.
There we go.
All right, let's continue, man. All right, so Eagles versus Giants. I love it. I hate them.
Oh man, let's go.
Let's hear what. Give me. Do you have any of your favorite Giants memories?
Eagles Giants favorite memories. One is the Miracle in Meadowlands, whatever edition it was. Right, so that may be one of my most memorable ones. The one with
Michael. About the first one or
crazy? No, not the one with Westbrook.
The original. The Sean,
yeah. So that may have been my favorite memory because Mike went crazy in the fourth quarter of that game. It was they just couldn't do anything with it. Coach Reed with the onside kick, Riley Cooper recover it, Dave Akers with a great ball placement, Jeremy Maclin. I remember the game because I did more coaching because I didn't get many balls that game, but I remember telling Jeremy Maclin, I was like, listen, in these critical situations, they go zero. If it's third down, it's fourth down, it's going to be critical. You're going to go zero. I was like, listen, jab to the out when you catch the hitch, jab to the outside and cut inside. You're going to score a touchdown. Your man's going to fall down. So just like I said, we run like a hitch route about from the 8-yard line, and he break down, catch the hitch like at 4 yards, and he jabs outside, boom, cuts inside, touchdown. That was because you running from inside out, and you trying to make sure that you keep that angle. If you get that little fake outside, the guy's gonna go for it and go inside. There's more space in there. And so I remember telling them that, and then I remember the last play of the game, Miracle in Meadowlands, the where they kicked it to Deshaun on accident.
Yeah.
And, I remember telling Deshaun, like, hey, you going in there because the special team coach, I wasn't on special teams at the time, but he's like, hey, look, you're our best punt blocker. And so get out there. And I'm like, okay, cool. If I don't block it, Deshaun will catch it. They did a great job, stopping me from blocking it. But I remember looking at the entire play, and I remember Deshaun dropping the ball. And as soon as Deshaun drops the ball, Omar Gaither lines up and smacks one person, and it was like dominoes. He hit the other two, knocked the other two down. So it was like right in front. It set it up perfect. Omar Gaither, boom, 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 boom. Knocked 3 people down, 1 block. Deshaun straight up the middle. Once he got to the middle, I was like, okay, it's me and Diassi, the best tackling
number 51
snapper. Yeah, the best tackling snapper in the history of football.
Nuts.
And he was a linebacker that got converted to a snapper. And I was like, dude, just hit him. And no technique, and I knocked both of us out. And Deshaun makes scores a touchdown. But I remember all of those games because to me, during our time, the Giants were my favorite NFC East team to play with because they were the most challenging. During that time, they did win a Super Bowl. They won Super Bowl during that time, so they were a physical team. And so I love that. I love that. They were way more physical than the Cowboys. So I loved it during that time.
Yeah.
What about you?
I have so many memories. On that actual play, I was on the sideline. So the play right before that, it was like 3rd and long, and Eli threw a seam pass to the tight end Boss, and I kind of dove, and we kind of like collided at the same time, and got our heads popped a little bit, and so I'm on the sideline getting checked for concussion, and like I see the ball go in the air, and they're trying to check me out, and I'm trying to watch, and then the next thing I remember, I just see Deshaun like running down the goal line, running the timeout before he scored, and I remember going nuts. So I remember that like yesterday, man. That was crazy. But some of my favorite memories, my first interception back in like 2000. Shoot, I aged myself, like 2000, was it 2004, 2003, somewhere around there. They used to split Jeremy Shockey out on the goal line, and they'd run just an easy fade to him, and they flexed him out. I was in goal line. That was my one package that I got to play early on in my career, and Eli threw a lollipop fade. Didn't think I was going to be out there, and picked it off, and I got to celebrate that.
You're happy about that,
yeah, man. I still have that ball somewhere. It's Eli. I don't like I hated playing the Giants, so I got that in my attic somewhere. But
awesome.
Yeah, just so many. Listen, man, the Giants. I agree with you. They were such a challenge for all those years that we played them. They were a big physical team. They knew our offense. I mean, they knew our defense. We knew their offense, but it'd always be like one up on each other. And Eli was a great quarterback for many years. They had so many good players. Brandon Jacobs, a running back, who was not fun to tackle. Ahmad Bradshaw.
Yeah, he was a good player.
Plaxico Burress, Hakeem Nicks, Mario Manningham, your boy.
Yeah, they had some good players.
Steve Smith, yeah. Amani Toomer, like they had some really, really great players, and their offensive line was phenomenal. So it was a lot of respect, a lot of disrespect also. So it was fun playing those teams, and so yeah. There was a lot of good memories, and fortunately we came out on top on a lot of those games. They ended up hitting some runs and getting some Super Bowl wins, but in the head-to-head match, we got quite a few of those. So that
when they had their D line would get hot. Their D line would get hot, and that was the difference between like a lot of those Super Bowls or a lot of those playoff runs. When their D line got hot, it was nothing you can do about it, especially when they had, the Strahans and Justin and OC, before they had Pierre Paul. When it was those three, oh my gosh, that was a challenge. Like we had to come up with a whole game plan. That's when we got into the tight formation. We used to have the 2x2 real tight. We did all of that stuff just because of them. Yeah. Like we ended up beating them with it, but it was like we had to create stuff in order to deal with that. It was unbelievable. Like I found myself running routes maybe 50% of the time I was on the field because I had to chip one of them. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? It was like, oh man.
Yeah, man.
Hope the tackles out this game.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah. So do you hate the Cowboys or the Giants more? You hate the Cowboys more. I just think that during our time, the Giants were the better and more respected team. But you hate the Cowboys more just because there's so many fake Cowboys fans running around here in Philadelphia that it gets on your nerves, make you want to pee in your mouth. So
me personally, I personally hate the Giants more. Like all the stuff that I said about respecting them, I hate the Giants more than any team in the NFL, not just the NFC, just the NFL, because all that respect and stuff. They did some dirty stuff. I got stuff on video of them doing some stuff.
I got hurt because of that.
Yeah. And so I respect them, but I hate their guts, and I wanted to beat the brakes off of them every time we play them.
I think, and I won't say, because I remember us going to the NFC Championship versus the Cardinals, and it was this new safety. It wasn't Kenny Phillips, but it was a Michael Thompson Johnson.
For the Giants?
Huh? For the Giants. Yeah, he was like
Michael Johnson, number 20.
Number 20.
From Arizona State. He was a safety from Arizona State.
Somewhere like that.
He's from Arizona State or Arizona. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
So we had them right before we had them right before the NFC Championship up in Meadowlands Stadium, and we ended up beating them late in the game when the game was out of reach. I had a basic cross like to 10, 12 yard in route. And the play's over. Donovan scrambling to the right. This dude runs a beeline and hits the back of my knee. And my knee collapsed. I'm out for the rest of the game. And what it did was it pinched my nerve, and they couldn't undo it. So we go into the Cardinals game. I got to come out every time I get tackled because the nerve would be pinched again, and they got to kind of work it out. So I believe that, especially late in that game, if I'm out of the game in the fourth quarter because they pounding at my knee and they started just running at me because they saw I couldn't move, a few of the DBs, I would chip and they would just run and blast me and hit my knee. And but But I think that at the end of that game, the game would have been different if I would have been played. Like those passes that was going to Kevin Curtis and Hank Baskett at the end of the game. If I was in the game, I thought it'd been able to make a difference because I was part of the reason we were able to come back in that game. So I was like, dude, like, but all that happened because of stupid Michael Johnson at the end of a play, dirty out of just for no reason. And he did that like 6 times, like to other people around the league. And he was out of the league in 2 years. But you know, it just that play right there really pissed me off because I thought that play kind of changed our NFC game.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't able to play effectively in that game. And it still haunts me to this day because I was like, dude, if that play doesn't happen, that game could have been different.
That's crazy. Yeah. And that's one of the things where, you know, first of all, a lot of fans don't see or know that those things happen. And there's I have multiple stories similar to yours from the defensive side of the ball of things that those guys were doing. And, you know, it never gets put on TV, never gets said. And it's really frustrating. And so, you know, a lot of times it's always people, you know, when things just like this happen, on the one hand, oh, we're a brotherhood, you know, we take care of each other. But then every now and then you get a knucklehead like that'll do something and just throws everything out of whack. And so
trying to be tough.
And fake tough. And they, not their whole team, but they have enough of those kind of guys, the fake tough guys, to make you want to hate them. So
oh, you should. The next year we got him. I destroyed him about 3 or 4. I'm talking about like the type of cuts where you hit your shoulder on the ground. You know, like yeah, you know, like when you can't even hit your hands, when you hit your shoulder. Yeah, I got it. I was tearing this butt up.
Oh, I love to see it. Yes, sir.
Oh man,
you were good at cutting, man. You were good at cut blocking. I used to. I used to see.
I got Willie. I got what was the state down from the Falcons? I got was it William Moore from the Falcons? I think it was William Moore, something like that.
Oh yeah.
I got him one time at home on us. Man, I cut him so bad. He got up ready to fight me. I'm talking about he did like 3 flips afterwards. He was like because I got him because I ran full speed into the cut. He didn't think I was going to stop. I was going to cut him. I ran full speed like I was running out. And he didn't see it. Woo! He got up, got a personal foul penalty for throwing a punch at me and everything.
Oh, man.
That's how you keep people. Listen, they too nice nowadays. Listen, a cut block is a legal block. I don't cut unless you start talking trash. Like, I'm just not going to cut you. But when you start talking junk, all right, okay. I'm going to try to choke you, punch you, and cut you. That's what I'm trying to do.
I didn't mess with. Listen, if I saw on tape that if somebody cut somebody else, well, I would make sure everyone know, hey, listen, man, you see this dude right here? If he's coming at you, make sure you're ready because he looked like he liked to cut. All right. So that first time he try to cut you, you go down with him that one time and put that knee, bow, right there.
That knee, yeah. You gotta get the perfect one now.
Yeah. All right, let's get back into it. All right.
Giants just fired the OC, right? Jason Garrett on Tuesday. What does this mean for the matchup? Guesswork for the Eagles a little bit?
I think so. I mean, overall, I don't think Jason Garrett was the biggest problem. I mean, I feel like his offensive scheme is kind of lacking imagination. It's kind of tough when your O-line is not very good and your quarterback makes bonehead decisions. So I think Freddie Kitchens will probably be able to get more creative with the passing game and the run game. I think it'll be a little bit more guesswork, but I think at the end of the day, you know, you are what you are. And I think, you know, as long as Daniel Jones is the quarterback and he's continuing to make the mistakes that he's been making, and even before Jason Garrett was there, I don't think it's going to be as big of an issue. It will be a little bit of guesswork, but, you know, I don't think, you know, if I'm Gannon, I'm going to go back and watch tape of him when he was at the Browns and calling plays for the Browns and try to get a vibe on how he likes to call games and just go from there and then see. You know, I don't think it's going to be a big issue.
Yeah, I'm not going to get down. I'm not going to get to that. I think will always come down to what our D line's doing what our offensive line is doing. Will it be a challenge of figuring out a new offensive coordinator? To some extent. But again, if our D-line can get home, Daniel Jones will throw us the ball. He can run. So we got to be disciplined. We got, and that have missing Davion in this game kind of hurts because Daniel Jones can run. 4-4 run. He's not just like he can run. He can run. You know,
he's
so
fast.
He's fast. And so I think it presents a challenge, their offense in general. We'll see if they can get some continuity with the new OC in there. But let's get to topic 4, and then and let's answer this question from Ron.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a long-winded question. You want me to read it? All right.
Oh, yeah.
You go ahead.
Okay. Shouldn't we be using more play action to roll Hurts out to the right, like bootleg sprint outs? It makes Hurts read simpler by limiting them to just the right side of the field. You can layer multiple passes, short, intermediate, deep, on just one half of the field, which should be easy to read. And Hurts is a mobile quarterback, so he would stress the closest defender, who would have to choose between defending the short receiver or the quarterback who might get yards with his legs. Let's answer that part out, and then we'll go to the second part. So I would love to see more play action, but the type of play action it's less effective to do play action out of the shotgun. Just a little bit less effective, just because you still got to ride the read up front. The guys are looking at you a little bit more. When your back turns and that ball is extended and then you come out of it to pass it, that's the most effective way that you can do, because it's very hard to see if the running back has the ball or not. You know, so we haven't been under center as much as I would like us to be these last few games. We've shown that we can be under center. And once we're under center, it will make the passing game a lot more effective, the bootleg game, all those things. So, yes, would I like to see that rather than us continue to drop back and just make a traditional shotgun offense and passing the ball that way? I would love to see play action, especially when you get the Saints defense doing what they did at the end of that game, in the middle of that game, with dropping, 7 defenders and rushing forward. That's great play action time. You don't have to worry about a blitz. That's what can blow up a play action is a timely blitz. When you don't have to worry about the blitz, that's more and more reason you should play action. So you have a point with that. Now, sprint right options or sprint lefts and stuff like that, will it make it easier? Yeah, to some extent. But remember, sprint options are not for teams that play man. A lot of teams play man-to-man versus us. And sprint right option is not a great option versus man-to-man. It's hard to hit a corner out on a run. It just is. Yeah. You got that one read, and the safety usually beats the corner to the corner because you're rolling to it. Right. So, yeah, you can beat your man, and it takes time to beat your man. But by the time you beat your man and the quarterback is rolling right, the safety's over there, too. So it's a very, very hard throw. And usually those sprint option plays are designed for zone coverages.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it
makes sense. It makes sense to do, but it's not something that we should live on.
Yeah. I mean, and to add to that, as a defender, especially when you say, with this question, when you say you layer multiple passes, short, intermediate, and deep, to me, that's flood route, right? Everyone's seen flood route since high school. So if I'm a defender, if I'm a safety playing, let's say I'm a middle safety, even playing cover one, the second I see the quarterback rolling out, I know very few quarterbacks and coaches are willing to roll out their quarterback and then throw it back to the other side of the field on the run.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I'm not even – the quarterback's not reading the half of the field. Well, the defender's not reading half of the field either. I'm reading the half of the field that he's going to, right? So, you're actually doing yourself a disservice because now you're bringing way more defenders over to the area that he's reading instead of playing more of a traditional drop back or you know, more of a zone read, because at least with the zone read, you're not cutting off a half of the field. So now as a defender, if I'm in the middle as a middle high safety, now even though I see this action, I still have to be worried about possible throws outside, possible posts. Like every route is potentially still available. So
yeah,
so that's add a little bit more to that too. So
yeah, but if you
that's a good question though.
But under center play action is more effective than shotgun play action. But
yes,
if we're eating people up, we're still able to pull guards. We're still able to mix it up in this run game by being in shotgun. So he just has to get a little bit lower, ride the fake a little bit longer, and be able to look down the field. I think it's hard to get that mesh with the running back and look at the field and keep, you know, I think it's just a hard thing to do, to catch the ball, to read, and then look up again. It kind of naturally happens when you turn your back, and then you can turn around real quick and see. It's very, very hard for him not to ride the fake out for play action. It's just hard when you're in the shotgun. It's a harder thing because you still can see in front of you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, very true. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one perspective. Let's read the last part of this. Also, shouldn't we be using more play action from 2 and 3 tight end sets? Hold on.
We always use 2 and 3 tight end sets.
Yes. So more play action on 2 and 3 tight end sets. Out of 2 tight end sets, maybe if we're in that, like for the game. So play action only works with what you've been doing for the game, right? So last week would have been a great time to use the shotgun zone read play action plays. It'd been a great time to use them. And we ran a few. But if you're going to do 2 and 3 tight ends, you got to make sure that you're running the ball out of 2 and 3 tight ends. You can't just go from a shotgun offense to a 2 and 3 shot for a few plays and expect it to work. It just don't work like that. It got to be something that the defense is constantly seeing in order for the play action to work. So, yes, if there's a game plan where there's a lot of 12 personnel, a lot of 13 personnel, you're going to see some boots, some play action off of that because they're predominantly running the ball in that formation. You know, so I think whatever the game plan is based on what the defense has weaknesses with, whether it's 11 personnel you're running with, whether it's 12, you run a play action off of what you've been doing most that game. So you have the right concept, the right Ron, you got the right mentality. The only thing I disagree with you is running a lot of half field reads. It's not something that you can run an offense with. It just isn't. Yeah. That's a change-up play that you run maybe at the most 3 times a game. It's not something that you just can make an offense out of.
Yeah, and I'll add two things to that. So, first of all, when you're going to, you know, what we call 22 personnel, 23 personnel, which is 2 tight ends, 2 backs, or 2 tight ends, 3 tight ends, 1 back, or however you do it. Now you're taking off potential game-breaking receivers. You're taking Devontae off the field. You're taking Quez off the field, and you're bringing in, I don't want to say, well, yeah, bigger, slower guys, right? But you're still, the defense will still have their corners. Yeah, they'll have their cornerbacks, their DBs in. So
John, like Jackson, like you're bringing in these guys. Go ahead, Q. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so now you got guys that are used to covering against guys that are, you know, slower guys. So there's a disadvantage there. And then the other part to me, which I think is the bigger issue, is now the entire offense is condensed, because a lot of times if you're bringing in those sets, those guys are in 3-point stances, everything's tight. Now you got more bodies in the box, more bodies on the quarterback, in the area of the quarterback. So even if you do play action pass or even run the ball out of it, you're bringing all these bodies in, and it makes your job actually more difficult. And then the last part I'll add is a good defensive coordinator worth his salt, if he knows a team's going to continue to stay in at 23 personnel, he's going to start sending blitzers off of the edge, because he knows, first of all, if my guy doesn't get there, it's a tight end, someone will catch him and run him down. The only thing you got to worry about is a play action pass. I'm sending those guys. I guarantee you my corners will come off the edge, or my safety or my linebackers will get there before your quarterback is able to play action and have anything really that can hurt me down the field. So I think it's good. I love the idea. I agree with you. We should do that, but more as a change up. All the stuff that you said, I think is good more as a change up, that to keep teams off balance.
Yeah, you got to keep your best players on the field. So I don't want to see. I would love to see Dallas Goedert, Devontae Smith, and Quez on the field majority of the time. Yeah, in the past, because I don't think that Teron Jackson or
Johnson.
Jake,
is it Johnson? Is it Johnson? Johnson.
Whatever his name.
Teron Jackson and Patrick Johnson. I'm sorry, I got it mixed up. My bad.
But Jackson and Stoll are your best players. I just don't think that. So I think you got to keep the players that they optimize your opportunity to win the football game. And that's those guys are going to win one-on-one matchups a lot faster than Stoll or Jackson. So that's where I am. So I don't want to take good players off the field, especially Jackson's not a great blocker. Stoll is, but So
I think you were talking about bad. I got you.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about defense for a second.
Oh,
when you were talking about when you said Jackson, I got mixed up.
No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah.
So we are going to sign off of the Q&A show. For everybody that tunes in each and every week, thank you guys for tuning in, making this show a success. Thank you to Jeff and Adam and Josh and Hunter and everyone that's responsible in the backgrounds. We want to say peace out. Let Q have the final words.
As always, man, a lot of fun. I always enjoy it. I'm excited for this run. Hopefully that they're able to get some guys back healthy and we get to talk about it next week, man. So as always, like I say, I learn something from you every week, and it was a good time, man. Thanks, everybody.
Man. Peace.